is at Marv, but you know,
Right?
just to show up to the Chavra, here's a little strumming pattern. Anyways, Chavra, let's open up our hearts. Bezrat Hashem, Chavra, listening to the Piacezna Niggun. We'll send the link in the description. But we all know it's the 78th Yarzeit, and I feel like it's time to really just go over some Torah, to learn some Torah from the Piacezna together. I think it would be really special on his Yarzeit, and also just being with beautiful Chavra, and for the Chavra who are watching on YouTube. It's just a special moment in general. The Piacezna Rebbe Mamish changed my life. One of the people in my lifetime that did. I went to TV Chovat Talmidim, so did Yosef Farka, and it was known that, or it was a given, it was assumed that all the students there would have to learn Chovat Talmidim. And I was given a free Chovat Talmidim. Hopefully we'll get a sponsor for stealing Torah Chavra for the Chovats. No, I'm joking, but we all got a free Chovat, my Shana Aleph, and I never really opened it up. I ended up losing it later, my Shana Aleph. Didn't really understand what was going on. Then my Shana Bet, someone else sponsored bigger Chovats. So I guess those were more exciting, the bigger Chovat Hamidims. This is the one from my Shana Bet. And I started opening up, and it really, really spoke to me. Essential, exactly. And it really, really resonated with me. And I feel like the Piacezna's message to me was about responsibility, taking ownership, the fact that you have to bring Hashem Shekhinah into the world. People are dependent on you. People are dependent on us. And instead of deflecting, we confront it, we embrace it, and we put some weight on our shoulders, and we thrive. Hashem's with us, Am Yisroel is with us. It's a beautiful thing. And one of my favorite teachings from the Piacezna, the Holy Rebbe, is in the chapter of main spiritual maladies and their cures. Comments on these, on the responsibilities we have, and how people like us tend to push them off. So let's go inside a little. This is really exciting. This is our first time on Stealing Torah, actually going through the Piacezna's teachings inside. The Chovat Talmidim Mamish changed my life from this one teaching, and I'll tell you why. The basic underpinning of these attitudes is that people are not used to demanding greatness from themselves, right? So we feel, at least for me, I feel like I hear this sentence all the time. Demand greatness from yourselves. Be great. You are great. You can do amazing things in this world. But the Piacezna has step-by-step on why this is actually important, and why this is essential, and that why this is a necessity. We think that only the great tzaddikim need to work on self-improvement. The regular people are just fine the way they are. Right? I look at the rabbis that I aspire to learn to be, and that I learned from. I look at the athletes in the world, and this is when I read this piece. I was obsessed with Kobe Bryant and still am. And Kobe Bryant is one of those people that never deflected, that never relied on someone else to do the work for him. He did the work. He mamish did the work. And when I read this piece, I'm like, Gewalt. The biggest Kobe Bryant fan, he wakes up at 4 a.m. He does 1 million hours of work a day. I mean, the Piacezna and Kobe are kind of related here. This is kind of cool. This is when the Torah really spoke to me. This is when the Torah was alive, connected to the secular world I was involved in, and I still am involved in. One who adopts this attitude commits a grave mistake according to the Piacezna Rebbe. One who says, the great people can work on themselves. Myself, I'm simple. I could sit back and have a beer on the beach. We've already discussed the responsibility that every single Jew has to work on himself in the earlier chapters, Chevra. I advise us to go through it again and again. I know you guys learned this already. Or to help others in order to reveal and discover the great tzaddikim, gedolim, and geniuses that exist within Klal Yisrael. Chevra, by taking on this responsibility, we are going to improve, but we can also help reveal to other people why they should be carrying the responsibility, why the world was created for them. They may be relying on you to demand that greatness. And once you do, you could show them why they should demand greatness. In Nebuch, the Shekhinah cries over this. Those who fail to accept this responsibility. So I'm just going to link it back to Kobe Bryant for a second because we just brought him up. Kobe Bryant took the responsibility to lead the Los Angeles Lakers, to lead the 12-man roster, to lead the coaching staff, to lead the front office, but even greater, to lead his family, to lead by example for his friends and for the city of Los Angeles, but even for the world. And we may not have an impact like Kobe Bryant did on a macro perspective, where we have millions and millions and millions of followers, but just one person, we all know every person's a world. So by accepting responsibility for yourself, you could reveal, like the Piacezna was saying, the next tzaddik, the next gadol, the next genius, could mamash reveal their neshama just by taking ownership. And we said that the Shekhinah cries over those simple people who say, I'll relax. But how much more so does he rejoice when we accept that responsibility? Mamish dancing. You feel it. You feel the simcha as Nitai comes on. So Bezrat Hashem Chevra, the same way the Piacezna accepted responsibility even before the age of 20, but we all know he accepted the position as rabbi of Piacezna from his father-in-law at the age of 20. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You know, we're 21 years old, 20 years old, 23 years old, and we're all in different situations in life. We're in the army, we're in YU, we're in different parts of the world, we're in IDC. We could change, we could impact the chevra around us just by accepting our own responsibilities to be better, to wake up in the morning, to text one friend, to bring a friend out to coffee. That's changing the world. That's affecting the world. That's making a person feel alive, to feel like the world was created for them. Bezrat Hashem, Chaber, we should accept this responsibility. We all know what we can work on, but really confronting that flaw, confronting the void within yourself and filling it with positivity, filling it with godliness. Oh my gosh, the heights we can reach, Chaber, and the heights the Chaber can reach, the community, the world. So deep, so deep. Chavra, questions, comments, please feel free.
So,
Sure.
oh, Jonathan, you go ahead.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's been a while, so yeah, I'll say something quick. I'll try not to be too tangential, despite my long absence. Jackie mentioned one of the first things you said was that people, sometimes they're like, oh, it's up for only the big rabbis or the elites. They are the ones who work on it. We don't, and then and now it's not up to us. And I think sometimes actually there's a certain ideology, even certain Jewish ideology, that says like, no, those great rabbis, they're perfect. We are the ones who are imperfect. And I think, and sometimes that really runs into, look at the Gemaras about that try to salvage certain prophetic text, about David and Shlomo, and we have a machlokas if it's if he did, he didn't. The Gemara also has does go after Moshe and the Avot in other ways, and I think there's a famous story about Chavetz Chaim that he said that the reason why he wrote about Lashon Hara was because that's what he struggled with when he was younger. And I think that the idea that people are perfect. The Kohelet says that there ain't tzaddik ba'aretz she'oseh tov v'lo yichteh. At the end of the day, everyone will sin, everyone will fall, and no matter what level madriga you're on. And I think the Abarbanel who really says he totally disagrees with the Gemara. He says no, David sin, Shlomo sin is straight out in Pasha in the text. He says, look, at the end of the day, it's not doesn't make them any worse of an individual. Yeah, they made mistakes, and again, you could try to write it any way you want, but I think it's so important for us to know even our leaders sin. And we have that famous phrase of Sheva Pamim Tzadik Yipol V'Kam. The last word of V'Kam is so critical, but it's you will fall, you will fail, you will falter, but then you still have to have that courage, that brazenness to come up again and say, do tshuva, to return. Rakuk always says that what tshuva is returning to your primordial self, to your original self, the pure self before the sin. And I think that's really important, just to always remember that that if your role models, if they're imperfect, that should even give you more courage, more inspiration. Even those great people, they make mistakes. So when I make a mistake, I'm going to do it probably even more often. But yet they also, then they're, oh, I got to chew, I got to return, I got to make myself better, I got to grow. So too, we should do that. We should follow their role, the way we do it. So is watch them, mimic them, and then you'll sort of follow in the way of Bshem at the end.
Amen. Amen. And Chavra, the time is now. The time is now. I was mamish learning with someone today from Chovat Hamidim, just to piggyback off of John and then Farga. I can't wait to hear the secrets. The Piacezna brings up the analogy. You take a child's arm, you put it behind their back, mamish bending it. When you release their arm, it stays there for a couple seconds, and then it goes back to their position, the regular position. But when you take an adult's arm, you put it behind their back, and after a couple of seconds, you release it, it stays there. And mamish stays there, it doesn't move. Oh, by the way, I reversed it. Mamish reversed. Gewalt! Gewalt teshuva. Gewalt teshuva. No, that's the most beautiful thing in the world, right? If you reverse it, sorry, Chavra, if you reverse it, right, with the adult, they're so used to doing something that if they experience change, after a couple seconds, they go back to the regular routine. But as kids, which we are kids, we could mamish use the change and make it everlasting, make it eternal, and keep our arm there for a few seconds. So if you flip the switch a little, it makes a little more sense. Sorry for the confusion, but Bezrat Hashem, the time is now. We are children. We could change. We could make that change into consistency, into eternal. Farka.
So, yeah, really beautiful. You could ask Nita. It was 2:26 a.m. on like this thing. And I saw Tamar had that on her screen, so it was like extra for right now. Nun represents nafal, falling, and it's interesting how it's broken up, like nach, like, okay, so you fall and you fall right away, but slowly, when you work on yourself, like what you're saying, like what this day is all about, like the Chovah lifestyle, when you work on yourself, slowly you're able to prolong not falling. So it's nach, it goes from nach, when you fall right away, to nachma. And the fall is longer, it's not as quick. And you're able to work on yourself through the fall. And all of a sudden, eventually, you have nachman, meaning the falling itself becomes your essence. In the way where you're able to build off of it, nachman me'uman. So your whole idea of falling is that exactly what Jonathan said, sheva yipol tzadik. Vikam, meaning the falling is the base from where, like me'uman, to where you come from. And that's like where you are. So it's like the shofar. It's like the nachman me'uman. It's you prolong the fall. Eventually, you work on yourself long enough that that was the journey where you build off from, and then you make a word. You make a word, and that becomes your name. And that's who you are. That's your journey. Bezrat Hashem, Mashiach.
So good. It's so good. We got the Kabbalist here. It's such a schut. Anyone else? Thank you, Farka. Rav Nitai, Tamar, Rav Nitai's friend.
Shalom Aleichem.
Lechem Shalom. That's also it's a great story you guys have to listen to. The Holy Hunchback. The Holy Hunchback. Send the link in the description. Tamar, do you have anything to add? If not, oh my gosh. I mean, she has so much to add. She's mamish defending Am Yisrael. It's the most beautiful thing, along with Nitai. Gewalt. Bezrat Hashem Chavra. Just a Teffilah Bshem Kol Yisrael. For all the people who need a refuah, Pesach Uvim Ben Yosef Asar, Miriam Dodi Baschana Yocheb, and Yona Bas Basia, Bracha Bas Yehudis. Maybe be Zocha to mamash feel the responsibility. Feel it. Mamash feel it deep within that other people are relying on us, that we can make an impact on the world, that we could bring people into the circle, that we will be able to bring people into the circle. That's the Tefillah B'Shem Kol Yisrael. Mamash bringing people in, making people feel like the world was created for them, making people feel like they are the world, and the world cannot exist without them. Bezrat Hashem, Chaver will continue tomorrow. Make sure to just learn something from the Piacezna, or listen to like a shir from some of the tzaddikim we have on YU Torah. It's just a pleasure, and we can learn more about the Rebbe. I mean, there's always more to learn from, and there's always more to learn about. So Chavra, I can't wait to see you all tomorrow, and sleep well.